In this next series, I want to talk about sitting, standing, sleeping. I'm going to do this with the help of my assistant, Stevie. Before I do, I want to kind of give you a little background. What we really want to do is we want to manage how optimally our body resists gravity. Most of us don't realize that our bodies have actually molded to our environment. If you think about this, it starts at an early age. It starts in kindergarten when we're sitting there on the couch watching TV, sort of slumped back like this or however we are, all right? Then we go and we start taking classes at school and we start sitting in a desk and it's in this position. Then we come home and we eat dinner and we sit in front of the TV and everything we're doing is all in this position. If you go back to how I explained the structure of the mechanics of the body, the meningeal sleeve, the covering of the brain and the spinal cord, think of it as a rubber band that comes up back here and it attaches to the back of the face. So you really don't want a lot of tension over a period of time like this. That tightens the system up, it pulls bones into positions that they don't want to be, and then you get up and pretty soon over time you're walking around doing this more and more, okay, which we see as a natural result of aging, okay. That result begins, or that effect begins with what we call anterior head syndrome. You start going like this, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Stevie as a prop, okay, as my demo, to show how you can adjust your standing, your sitting, and your sleeping position to minimize the tension on that covering, the meningeal sleeve, but also minimize the tension on your muscles. That way you're minimizing all the torque and twist in the spinal cord or the spinal column itself. Remember, the body works as a single synchronized functional unit. So if I do something down on the feet, it's going to have an instantaneous result on where her head is in space-time. All right, so here's how this looks. Let's start with standing. What's the number one thing that's going to influence your standing? The shoes you wear. All right? There are all sorts of shoes out there being promoted and marketed with all sorts of claims about how they improve your posture. And I'm going to show you how most of them are flawed. They're incomplete or they're just plain out wrong. So what I want Stevie to do is I'm going to have her take a deep breath in through her nose, exhale and let your body go. Pretend that nobody's even looking at your posture. Okay? Now, let's analyze her posture. Just go ahead and look straight, but don't really, there we go. Okay, so she's going to look straight ahead here. What I want is, ideally, I want to see a straight line go between or down from her ear, through her shoulder, through her hip, down through her knee, and then dropping straight down in front of the ankle bone just a little bit. Now, Stevie does have pretty good posture. However, if you notice, her shoulders are rolling forward here. Her head is forward just a little bit. And the whole system, if I come in here and I kind of push, you see how she can move. She'll wave, okay? And it's not a movement forward from the ankle. It's a movement where her whole body, see her knees had to buckle a little bit, okay, to keep her upright. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of a heel lift. So I'm going to have you lift your heels and back down. Now, watch the difference. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and let your body go. And you can see that just brought her up just a little bit. Okay, and now what I'll do is I'll do this a couple of times so you can really notice, okay? I'm going to pull this back out. And now, just notice how she had to adjust herself, okay? I pulled that out and she had to adjust. So take a deep breath in, exhale, let your body go. See, it buckles right in this area here. Now watch that. Go ahead and lift up and take a deep breath in. Exhale, let your body go. Okay, and just as I was putting the heel lifts in, you could see her body sort of come up like this a little bit more, all right? Now, we're going to add just a little bit more to the heel lift, okay? Okay, lift up and back down, okay? Now, take a deep breath in and exhale. Now, you see how there's a little bit of a wave. Okay, and in this case, that's a little bit too much of a lift for Stevie. It actually, in order to compensate for that push forward, she has to all of a sudden come back here. Now again, if I come in like that, she's still kind of wobbly, although it was better than when she was barefoot. Now I want you to see the difference. I'm going to give her even a higher heel. And back down. And look what just happened. If you notice, her whole body kind of shifted and is trying to figure out, well, where am I right now? If I kind of, you see how that changes how she reacts. She's wobbly. How does that feel?
Yeah, wobbly.
It's a little wobbly, okay? So all you ladies that like to wear heels, here's a reason why that's not such a good idea. A little bit of a heel is great. Now, I want to show, again, we're going to do something a little different. Just lift your 4 feet up. Okay, and right away, we see that just changed her mechanics again. If I push, she's wobbly. I could still overpower her. I'm not trying to. But she's wobbly from the ankle. Let's do this again, Stevie. I'm going to pull this out. Okay. Notice where she goes. Now, how do you feel? You see that? She gets even more wobbly. Do you like that? Right. Okay. So that's what high heels are going to do. Now we're going to break the heels down just a little bit. I'm going to bring it down to a heel. Go ahead and lift both. To a heel lift that's probably more appropriate for her. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Let your body go. Now notice how she is. That feel pretty balanced to you?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, isn't it? Okay. Now watch this with no heel. Lift up. And back down. Notice how she falls back. Notice how unstable you are. Her whole body waves when I give her a little push. Okay? So that's how critical heels are. A couple of millimeters makes the difference between yes or no. Okay? One of the things that I teach people all the time is that your body is a precision instrument. Horseshoes and hand grenades do not apply here. It's actually a precision instrument, and you have to be very, very precise. And you're going to see this as sort of a thread that goes through all the sitting, standing, and sleeping technology that I teach you. Okay? So the last piece of the standing, well, there's 2 other pieces I want to go over. But one thing I want to dispel is the myth of some of these lower heel shoes that you see on the market. I see people coming in all the time, and as we're taking them through the process of unwinding and their body literally unwinding back through their history of traumas and injuries and things like that, and they're starting to get better, they go and they reset themselves, either in the car seat, their love seat at home, their couch, their recliner, or their bed. So we're going to try to address some of those. But one of the biggest things that I'm seeing is people who go get these very expensive gravity shoes that the picture shows that you go from this to dropping the heel and you go up like this. I'm going to show how that's not true. Go ahead and lift your forefoot and this one. Okay. Now take a deep breath in. Exhale. Let your body go. Notice how she's falling back. Okay. She's having a hard time. Now for her brain to now get her upright relative to gravity, she's going to have to compensate somehow. That compensation increases torque and tension throughout the body. So think of that as, how would you like to sit here with a 20-pound weight in your hand and hold it like this for 12 hours? That's going to, you think it's going to have an effect on the muscle? It'll affect the muscle will tighten and twist, it'll affect the joint, it's going to transfer over, and pretty soon your whole body is all tight. And now we have stress, don't we? How many of you experience stress up in here? Well, that's all relative to how your brain is positioning your body underneath it for maximal resistance to gravity. If it's not able to position it because it's all compensated, your head's forward, of course it's going to cause tension here. That's like holding a 15-pound weight in your bicep. Okay? And no wonder you've got all this tension up here. Okay? So hopefully that dispels that myth. All right? Now, what can you do to help relax the tension up here? Stevie will tell you if she starts getting tension, and you all have these knots, I've seen them, I've felt them, okay, I've had them. I don't anymore, but people do. So what do they want to do? They take their head and they stretch down here saying, well, I'm stretching the muscle. And it feels really good to stretch that muscle. That feels pretty good, doesn't it? Okay? Here's the problem. You're stretching that muscle, But at the same time, remember the meningeal sleeve, deep, deep down inside along the spinal cord. You're tractioning that. If you've ever played with those little Chinese finger handcuffs, that's what the meningeal sleeve is designed like. So when I'm actually stretching the muscle out here, yes, it feels good. I'm releasing endorphins. I get that muscular stretch. I come back, and within an hour, I need to do that again. The more I do it, the more I need to do it. Any of you ever experienced that? Well, here's why. As I'm stretching this muscle, I'm contracting that meningeal sleeve. The muscle is tight in response to the twist, torque, and tension on the meningeal sleeve. So I'm helping the outside. I'm making the inside tighter, which then in turn makes the outside tighter. Okay? So here's a better way to go at it. What I have my patients do is simply visualize her head as a steering wheel, okay? So I'm going to have her rotate her head on this axis backward. The reason is, remember that meningeal sleeve comes up and it attaches back in here, okay? So if I have this as a rubber band and I'm stretching everything forward, I'm stretching that rubber band, okay? The only way that the rubber band relaxes is like this. Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So if you do this, if you've been sitting at the computer for a long period of time, if you're standing outside watching a game or whatever, you feel that tension build up, try this and you'll see it makes a big difference instantly. But over time, you're actually going to minimize the tension on that meningeal sleeve. So here's what we do. I'm simply going to hold her here just to give her some feedback. And Stevie, what I want you to do is I want you to just rotate your chin straight to the ceiling. Now notice she's not going back. She's just rotating straight up, all right? Now I'm going to have you take a deep breath in. Exhale, relax your shoulders, relax your body, let all the muscles back here relax. Now breathe in again, and this time push your chin up a little higher. Okay, not back. Okay, see she's having a tendency to rock back, so I'm going to put her back in position. Okay, that's why I'm doing this, okay, and I teach my patients this. It'll take a little bit of getting used to. But all I want you to do now is just rotate up. There. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck. You feel that relax? Okay. Now breathe in again. Exhale and roll the chin up. Just roll the chin up. There you go. And it's almost like you're just pushing your chin straight to the ceiling. Okay. Breathe in again. Let your shoulders, your back, and your knee relax. Good. Now, I'm going to hold her here. This is probably a little uncomfortable for her, but for instructional purposes only, we're going to do this. If you notice, she's also getting a little bit more of a curve in here. So it's not only relaxing that meningeal sleeve up here, it's relaxing it all the way down. And she'll tell you, even though she feels tension here, her body is starting to experience relaxation throughout in the back. Okay? Breathe in again. Push your chin up a little higher. Now I'm just going to hold her in this position. It's not forcing anything, I'm just kind of holding it. Breathe in again, relax your shoulders, let your body go, and it even rocked back a little bit more. Now I'm going to bring her right back to neutral, and tell me how that felt.
Good.
That felt good, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so she feels light right now. Now, let's just compare that, and I'm going to mess you up and then I'm going to fix you again, okay? But let's compare that to this. I'm going to just stretch her. Now that's a pretty good stretch, isn't it? Okay? Now, stand there, take a deep breath in. Exhale, let your body go. Watch what happened to her body. Kind of does this, okay? Now we're going to do that exercise all over again. You ready? Okay, breathe in. Exhale, rotate your chin up. You're just there. You see how her head is just rotating right on this axis, okay? Breathe in again. Relax your shoulders, let your back go. There, she's doing both at the same time. Breathe in. Let your back go, push your chin up a little more. Now, there's a little bit of tension there, so I'm going to hold it right at the tension point and have her breathe in and relax into it. So breathe in, exhale and relax. Breathe in again, exhale and relax. Notice she even got a little farther than the first time. I'm going to bring her right to neutral. Now take a deep breath in, exhale, and notice she doesn't collapse down as much. How does that feel?
Yeah.
A lot better, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay? So that's something that you can do at home very easily on your own. if you're not under care by a doctor who's trained in advanced biostructural correction, which is really the only technique that I've found and that I've experienced, and I've studied all of them, it's the only thing that I've found that will actually correct your mechanics, because it's not just a bone, muscle, nerve thing. It's about the tension and torque on that meningeal sleeve. But if you're not under care of a doctor, or you don't have one close to you, do this and do some of the other things I'm going to teach you about sitting, standing, and sleeping in order to minimize the tension and torque on your body, okay? And if you're not under the care of an advanced biostructural doctor, I would still like you to be under the care of a chiropractor, because they're going to unlock a lot of those little, what I call glitches in the system, okay? Little breaks in the circuit box in order for your body to function better, okay? So this is what you can do at home, and we'll continue in the next segment with sitting and sleeping.